7:30 p.m. Watch live on YouTube and make sure to subscribe. Sports on Tap's high school football coverage is presented by Raymond Felton State Farm.
With the auto insurance market constantly changing, call a professional that will put your needs first. Ray Felton State Farm is a team of licensed professionals that will assess your risk, explain coverage in detail, and assure you understand what would happen if you ever found yourself in a claim situation. You can visit rayfelton.com or call their office at 234-284-2996 for a free quote on your home, auto, renters, and life insurance needs.
Whether you're hosting a corporate event, wedding, conference, concert, or any other special gathering, our comprehensive range of services will exceed your expectations and elevate your event to new heights. RRT Productions. We shoot, we edit, you win. Visit our website at www.rrt-productions.com.
Hand-and-built leather goods. Leather goods built for life. Made by hand in the USA, all goods are made with veg-tanned leather. Some of the best quality around and made by a U.S. veteran. Check out their website, www.handbuiltleather.com. GV Art and Design is a creative boutique specializing in original artwork, design, and apparel. With 4 locations in Lakewood, Avon, Willoughby, and Kent, you can visit their store and check out their collections, including Cleveland sports teams, Ohio colleges, and much more. Use the code ONTAP10 for 10% off your order. GV Art and Design, original and one of a kind.
Welcome, everybody, to Sports on Tap. This is the high school hockey show, not to be confused with the high school football show for the last 4 months. My name is Ed Dick, alongside the technical director, Rob Troutman, Professor Hype himself, Sean Duffy. Our EVP of social media content, of course, is Josh Jeffy, and our VP of basketball operations and Dr. Hoops, Noah Jacobson. I hope everyone's been catching up with us. Noah's been doing some really good work with some high school basketball. He's been spotlighting some games for us. Make sure you check out our website, sportsontap.podcast.com, our YouTube channel, Sports on Tap, and of course Spotify to get the latest of what we have going on. You are watching this live on the YouTube channel. Make sure you hit subscribe and get the notifications and get those notifications when we are about to come on to the air. We are brought to you by Ray Felton State Farm Insurance. We are always happy to promote Ray and his insurance company. You heard about all of our other sponsors right before the show: GVR and Design, Ham-Belt Living Made Goods, and of course RRT Productions. You're going to hear more information about them over the course of the show and after this show. Make sure you follow us on Twitter /X at SOT Podcast, on Threads at SOT_podcast. I cannot stress this enough. YouTube and Spotify, Facebook Sports on Tap, and of course our website, sportsontappodcast.com. We are shifting from our football coverage to coverage of the Greater Cleveland High School Hockey League, and we have a great show for you tonight. Ryan Kelber is out on assignment, but the executive director and president of the Greater Cleveland High School Hockey League. We have a great relationship with him. And with him, we have a great relationship with all the coaches, and we're really happy to be working with the Greater Cleveland High School Hockey League for another year. We're really excited, and we have some coaches that are going to be coming up to talk to us about their seasons. We're going to be joined first in about 7 minutes by Aurora head coach Joe Lowry of the Blue North Division, Kent Roosevelt head coach Brad Edwards of the Blue South Division, Stow-Munroe Falls head coach Ryan Schelien from the White North Division, and friend of show Chris Cohan from Rocky River of the Red Division. Before we get to that, we'll quickly recap what happened last year in the Barron Cups, and then Sean, as always does, he is the PowerPoint man. He's going to pop over to see what we have for alignments in 2023-2024. First, running down last year, the Barron Cup 1 championship was won by Benedictine. They defeated Amherst Steel. That was Benedictine's first championship since the very first Barron Cup tournament in 1970. So congratulations to Benedictine on that. Barron Cup 2 was won by Western Reserve Academy. They go back-to-back. Their last game as a program, they did defeat Stow-Munroe Falls, who were the White North champions. So Stow-Munroe Falls looking for the Division 2 or the Barron Cup 2 championship this year. And Barron Cup 3 was won by CVCA. They defeated Kent Roosevelt. Kent Roosevelt has since moved up to the White Division, and it was a really great Barron Cup tournament, which you were able to see all the finals games live here on Sports on Tap. All right, let's get Sean. Let's get the PowerPoints up, and let's see what we got going on here.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Yeah, and this is the hockey show. The technical director really made a mistake here tonight.
This technical director just really has a problem.
I put up the football thing, not even thinking. I just thought it said Sports on Tap and Ray Felton State Farm, and I made a mistake. So this is the hockey show, like Ed mentioned beautifully there in the open.
Well, even though it's the hockey teams are in league play, their season's much in the thick of it. It's still early on in the preseason for us. We'll get going. We'll get better.
That's right,
sure.
buddy. Yeah,
we'll still make mistakes. Don't you fret a single hair on that head, folks, because we're going to make mistakes throughout this whole process as we go. But nevertheless, let's move on. We have the Greater Cleveland High School Hockey League 2023-2024 preview, and it starts off, as always, guys, with the Red Division. We got Amherst, the Comets, Benedictine, the champions of the Barron Cup 1 last year.
Yeah.
Hudson Explorers, Mentor Cardinals, Olmsted Falls Bulldogs, and the Rocky River Pirates coached by a guest on our show, friend of show, Chris Cohan. So this is the newly realigned Red Division. Guys, would you like to make some thoughts, or I don't know, say something?
Sure.
It's a very competitive division. I mean, the Red Division. Obviously, we're not, without. There are certain levels for a reason. This is probably your top level of competition. Lots of depth, lots of speed. Not to say that a white team can't compete with a red, because that obviously can happen. Same with the blue, for that matter. But all these are returning teams. Hudson has had a really good run as of late. Menor, Menor was upset. Menor and Rocky River, for that matter, were both upset in the Barron Cup 1 tournament last year in the early rounds. We had a 4-5 matchup between Benedictine and Amherst for the Barron Cup 1 championship. Amherst, they lost some studs. They do return goalkeeper River Ambrose. She's a junior now. We've been watching her the last 2 years, minding the net for Amherst. Menor always reloads. Olmsted Falls, coached by Carl Wagner. I think they struggled a little bit last year, but they're still in the Red Division, and I'm sure they're primed to make some noise here. We know what Rocky River can bring. Rocky River and Menor are no strangers to not only making an impact in this league, but also in the state tournament, where it's very tough for a lot of the teams in this league to make progress in that tournament. But Menor and Rocky River are some of the teams that have been able to have some success.
All right, moving on. We're going to go to the White Division, broken up into the White North. Got the CVCA Royals, last year's Blue Barron Cup 3 champions, move up to the White Division. North Olmsted Eagles, Kenston Bombers, Strongsville Mustangs, and the Stow Bulldogs are now members of the White North. And then we move on to the White South Division. Avon dropping down from the Red Division down to the White South Division, along with Avon Lake. Going to be some great battles there between those two programs. Elyria Catholic, the Panthers, are in the White South, along with Kent Roosevelt's Rough Riders. They are also in the White South. And to round out the White South Division, we have the Lakewood Rangers. Guys, any thoughts indicating on what we see out of the White Division? Just early thoughts.
Well, I think yeah, go ahead, Ed.
Go ahead, Rob. No, go ahead, Rob, please.
No, I was going to say, we saw Stowe. They were impressive in that White North Division last year. I think there's a lot of great teams. CVCA, I'm interested to see how they're going to compete in the White North this year. But you have a lot of good teams. Strongsville, they seem to get hot right at that Barron Cup time. I think they have a lot of returning players coming back. North Olmsted and Kenston, they're right there as well. So, I kind of like the Avon and Avon Lake matchup, two rivals right there. Elyria Catholic, I thought, was a young team last year. We watched them, host Cleveland Heights last year, and that was a great matchup. I thought they competed really well. And Kent Roosevelt, they had a really good season last year. I think they keep developing as a program to try to be the top in that White South. And Lakewood, too, they have competed and are right there. So I think this is going to be a really fun division to watch.
I like what you're saying. Oh, go ahead.
I want to quickly qualify. In the Red Division, every team makes the Barron Cup playoffs. The top 2 seeds get a first-round bye. They do play 10 league games. In the White Divisions, top 4 teams from each division make the Barron Cup. 8 league games. They do home and homes. There are no crossovers, at least that count in the standings. And then we'll get to the Blue Division here shortly as well. Sorry, Sean, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, it's going to be interesting. I think if you look at the White South and the White North as a combined, I think there's probably, like you said, the top 4 make it. I think there's legitimately a lot more teams that could be, dark horses to really take the Barron Cup 2 come. Obviously injuries are going to play going to play their role, but I think if you look at, my dark horse pick beginning of the season is going to be Kent Roosevelt. I was thoroughly impressed with everything they did last year in the Barron Cup tournament, and obviously they were not quite as successful as they wanted to be, but they gave everything they had to that, and they brought a lot of skaters back, which is good for them. And I think.
But Sean, is it really a dark horse when they were in the championship game last year?
Well, again, they were a dark horse coming in because they had to qualify to get in. They were in the earlier round.
Correct.
So they played all the way in. So look, you got a lot of good teams out there. You got Avon. I'm talking about qualifying to get the tournament.
Right.
Do I think Kent Roosevelt can get the top seed? Probably. But in a tournament bracket, we'll see how they perplex. I like saying dark horse.
Well, and if we're talking the White South, there are right now. Where is it? Oh no, we're in the white here. The White South Avon Lake right now is 3-0 on the season. It's updated on the Greater Cleveland High School Hockey League's website. I know Kelber said he was working on getting those up to date. So right now, you're looking at an Avon Lake and an Avon right now at 1-2, along with Elyria Catholic right there with they're 1-1 on the season. So it is early, but they are starting to play some games. Kenston 3-0, 2-0 CVCA in that White North right now. But like I said, it's only a few games in, so it's very early in the season, and it's going to be fun to see where these teams go.
Yeah, the White Division is probably going to be. I'm looking for it to be one of the most competitive divisions, North and South. I think those are good teams, top to bottom, and they're going to play really well. It might be that meat grinder we see in other sports, where they're all going to be battle tested coming into the Barron Cup. All right, well, let's move on to the Blue Division. And we'll start off in the North, where we have the Aurora Greenmen, Canfield Cardinals, Cleveland Heights Tigers, Normandy Invaders, Solon Comets, and the Westlake Demons. And in the South Division, we got ourselves a bit of a logjam in the South Division. We got Bay Village, the Rockets, Brooklyn, the Hurricanes, Chagrin Falls Tigers, Mayfield Wildcats. We got two sets of Lions. One's from NDCL, one from Orange. We got some Knights from Nordonia. And, oh, by the way, another set of Tigers from Twinsburg. That's all in the Blue South Division. Guys, we got ourselves a bit of a logjam in the South of the Blue. And in the North, we got some hefty teams there as well.
No doubt. With Aurora dropping down from the White Division, from the White Division, they certainly add some depth to Blue North. The Blue Division do lose Parma. Parma obviously is not their school is no longer. So shout out to Coach Gaudino for that as well. As you mentioned on the WRA earlier. With the Blue Division, the top all 6 teams in the Blue North do qualify for the Barron Cup tournament. The top 2 teams in the Blue South Division will qualify as well. I think they'll play in that playing game. That we've seen. Oh, actually, maybe the way it's set up, they may not. But anyways, in the North, they will have 10 league games. In the South, they will have 14 league games. So there's going to be lots of opportunities for these teams to play each other, which will lead to a very competitive Barron Cup 3 championship coming up here in February. I believe we do have Aurora head coach Joe Lowry on the line. Let's see if we can get him on here.
There he is.
There he is. Hey, Coach, how you doing tonight?
I thought I heard. He's muted right now, but I do see his video.
I see his video, too. He's got a great beard.
The beard is clutch. You can't go wrong with a beard.
But yeah, if you look, in the Blue North right now, it looks like Normandy, they're 4-0 right now. Aurora's right behind them at 2-2. Oh, there he is. Let's see if we hear him now. Hey, Coach Lowry, how are you?
I'm good. Yeah, gentlemen. Sorry, I didn't realize I needed to join audio there. So I'm
good. Very good. How you doing tonight? Thanks for taking the time to join us.
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Coach. Talk about how the season's going for you guys so far. I know you guys obviously the season started. We're just picking up on hockey a little bit more now, but getting really ramped up for the coverage that we're about to have. But talk about some of the players so far that have made an impact for you, and kind of where you're at right now at this time as you're starting to ramp into division play.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's been a fun start to the season. So we've had about 3 weekends of full game schedule at this point. So one of those is a tournament weekend for us. We played in that Nordonia Thanksgiving tournament. We had a good time there. That's always a good tournament. That one's run well. Get a good group of teams in on that one for the we've done that for probably the last 6, 8 years, maybe more. We liked that tournament a lot, and we did pretty well on it. We came out 2-1 out of that tournament. Unfortunately, 2 wins was not enough to get us into the championship. Kind of the way that it shook out, we needed to take the win against Chagrin to make it to the championship, and we didn't get that one. So both Chagrin and us ended up 2-1, and they went to the championship to face Westlake there.
Hey, Coach, talk about, you guys, Greater Cleveland High School Hockey Leagues, it's a huge league, a lot of teams, especially in the blue divisions that you're now in. But talk about the importance of those tournaments that you play. A lot of teams, in fact, most teams play in these tournaments before league play starts. How important are those to kind of get a grasp on, the lines that you're going to have going into each game and kind of develop to see what your players are going to do? Because it's tough to get that ice time. It's tough to see, how these players are going to react in actual live game play. But talk about how important these tournaments are.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, they're important. And it's kind of just how many of them do you want to play in a season, especially since you get somewhere like 10, 12 league, divisional games. So, to make up some additional game time, get more experience, work people in, definitely important, especially for me, the beginning of the season one there, the Thanksgiving time frame. That one's always kind of a good litmus test to see what you've got and how your start's been. But yeah, also to mix up the lines and see where people are going to fit in. And for me, I think usually that tournament is about the time that I'm getting a better feel for what my line should be going forward. Of course, nothing's ever set in stone. You're going to move them around and everything and adapt. But yeah, it's definitely important for that. So, and then, like I said, most teams I think do at least one, but 2 or 3 tournaments is really nice to have through the course of the season there. Pick up, whatever it might be, 12, 15 extra games on top of your league games and your non-league one-off weeknight games, whatever you pick up.
Coach, again, thank you for taking the time. I know it's a busy time of the year for you guys and taking any time to talk with us. One question I like to ask is, in any sport, especially the winter sports, you get a lot of fall athletes that were playing fall sports, and then it kind of merges into the winter sports. Do you see that? I mean, I don't know how many fall sport athletes you actually have on your team, on your squad this year, but do you see a little bit of a lag time in getting them into quote unquote hockey shape from whatever shape they were in coming into, from football or from soccer, from other activities?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, no matter where you come from, hockey shape is different, but we seem to have, we have a good football team. We have a good, well-run football program that tends to play a lot of postseason action. So we have kind of growing pains every year with, we start the season off and, you want your football team to go as far as they can, especially for the senior guys and all that, to take it as far as they can go. But at the same time, those same guys are probably big keys to your lineup. So that has been the case for us, this year, last year, many years, that we've got a couple big keys of football players that we might not have them. They might miss our first weekend of league games, depending on, they could miss several weekends worth of league games if they go, really deep in the playoffs. And then, they come onto the team, and you definitely got to give them warm-up time, acclimation time to get used to skating, hitting, and getting in shape for sure, especially, they come in as off the line or something. You get a lineman come in and and he's not quite as agile as he might have been the year before, since he grew 6 inches and put on 30 pounds, of meat everywhere.
Tends to get a little unbalanced on the ice is what I call it. I'm not bad. I'm just unbalanced on the ice.
So we see that every single year. I mean, other sports, I don't know if it's as big of a thing, and maybe it's just, maybe it's just our football program. But the soccer players seem to come in in good shape. You got cross country guys. I mean, they've got good cardio. But hockey shapes are certainly different than anything else.
Well, Coach, looking at your team, you said you went 2-1 in the tournament. Coming up during the season, when people are going to these games, who are some players, some seniors that are leading the team, but also some players to look out for on your squad this year?
Sure. Yeah. I got a good roster. I got a good lineup. I'm happy with what we've got on the team this year. You know, we graduated out quite a few last year, about 7 or so. And we did, we did replace all 7. So we got a roster of 20 again. Now we've got a couple beginners that have joined us, freshmen and sophomores there. But I had a really good returning core, especially of defensemen this year. So I've definitely got a couple guys that are playing really well so far, and that they're just bringing it every single game. So we got my senior captain. I don't think anybody's going to overlook him throughout the course of the season. I'm pretty sure that most of the teams in our division, we've seen every team in our division except for Cleveland Heights so far. So I think everybody knows that, and that's our number 5, our senior captain, Will Fiffner. He's been a great player. He's our MVP last year, and he's coming back and just playing lights out so far this year. He's on quite a tear.
We're talking with Aurora head coach Joe Lowry. When you're bringing back your team MVP, that has to give you as a coach a nice level of comfort, knowing that you probably have an extension of you and your coaching staff out on the ice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he knows what we want, and he's always had kind of a, he had 3. He's one of 3 boys. He's the youngest of the 3, so he's been playing hockey pretty much his whole life. So he knows what was there. He's been around the team, even before his 4 years that he was on the team. So, he knows what we expected. He always had a good level of maturity, and played other high level hockey with the pre-post there. He played with the Crusaders that have really built up some good teams over the last couple of years, and so they're playing pre-post kind of stuff and going out to Boston in the summers and playing Chowder Cup tournaments and stuff like that out there.
Nice.
Playing, 16, 17-year-old guys going out there playing against these junior teams with visors and stuff. So he's having a good time doing that kind of hockey. So yeah, he's. I don't think anybody's going to overlook him throughout the course of the season. And then he's backed up and supported by a number of other players too. We got our senior alternate captain there, Mike Phillips. He wears number 10, so he had a great year for us last year as well. We returned him. We had him playing defense throughout his 4 years. He's kind of played up and back. He's been a big 2-way player for us the whole time. So last year he was playing defense. This year we moved him up to play center, and he's doing a great job with that so far. Let's see. We've got a returning junior who's a big key on our defense there. Number 18, Brody Markle. He's one of him and Phillips are 2 of the football guys that we had to work back in there and get him in shape, try to get him agile throughout. And then, we do have a number of other seniors that are kind of, 3rd or 4th year guys that joined our team and used as a platform like a hockey school to learn to play. And they're huge keys to us now. And they're both, we got a couple in that boat, but we got number 2, Frankie Wensick, playing on the wing there. He's having a good year. He's finding the net. He's playing aggressive like that. And then we got a number 13, Henry Hess. So, like I said, both of those guys were kind of like journeyman players for us, figuring out where they fit in the last couple of years, and now they're at the front of the lineup, bringing it for us.
Well, Coach, I got to say, you have some fans on our YouTube that were asking about your freshman team, but they also were commenting on how great your beard is. So congratulations on getting that beard out there. They were pretty impressed right now. And if you want to comment, you can go to our YouTube page and comment back on, they're naming some players too that they want to know about. But they're impressed with that beard you got growing there.
Yeah, thanks. This is I had this for a couple years now. It's just part of it now.
Nice.
It feels right now.
I know life.
It's impressive.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. We got some freshmen that they came in and their keys too in there. So we're happy with those guys. We like I said, we brought in a couple freshmen. 2 of them are playing D for us now, and they stepped in and just filled the role right away. So we tell them in the locker room, they already know it, but really impressed with how a couple of those freshmen have just fit right in with the team makeup so far. And one of them actually, I'll throw his number and his name out there for him. The number 6, Ian Gable, is one of our freshman defenders there, and we played a league game against Westlake last weekend, and he had a big power play game-winning goal there. That was his first high school goal, so that was a huge moment for him and the whole team. We all rallied around him for that.
Very cool.
Excellent.
That's a big spot for a freshman, and really in any sport to come in and make an impact like that. So it's got to be great for you as a coach, knowing you have a lot of depth starting to build up from as young as the freshman group, making an impact in the varsity level. Speaking of that, one last question, and we like to ask coaches about this. How does the youth program feed into what you guys do in the high school level?
Yeah, it's important, and we're like many schools are like, one that doesn't have a youth feeder program that's, like a municipal level one that's run by the city or anything like that. So we're drawing on a couple youth programs in the area, and that's kind of the same youth programs that a couple of the schools, our rivals around us are drawing on too. So definitely important to have, and of course we got the Geauga youth program that runs out of the pond, which is our home. So we see those players around the building and in practice and, like that, just in passing. But we also pull players from like the Gilmore youth program, from the Kent youth program, a couple of them around there, so definitely important to have those. I grew up in Garfield Heights, and that's where I learned to play hockey. And of course they had the youth feeder program that was really big at that time. I mean, it was a huge, really well-run, well-respected, history of hockey kind of city with the rink in there, municipal rink, municipal youth program, and then that fed the high school team directly. So, we don't have something like that. So it is important for us to get players out of youth. But on the other side, I think a lot of teams in the blue and probably even the white just rely on being their own hockey school and taking beginners and teaching them to play and giving them a few years of experience and incubation time. And then, like I said, those guys step up and fill big roles. So we got guys every year that started playing in hockey and they got 3 or 4 years under their belt, and they're they're on the stat sheet and up there.
Coach, thank you very much for taking the time to join us. Obviously you have good leadership coming back. You got some impact players coming up from the freshman ranks, it looks like already, and you guys are off to a really good start. And we look forward to seeing how Aurora does, and especially for qualification for the actually you'll be in the Barron Cup based on where you're at, but we'll see where things shake out for you in Barron Cup 3. But thanks for taking the time to join us, and good luck this year.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
That is head coach from the Aurora Greenmen. That's Joe Lowry joining us here from the Blue North Division. Talking about the Greenmen and what they have going on. Obviously bringing back your team MVP for a senior year and getting some help from the football team certainly will help you out there. And obviously with Ian Gable making an impact from the freshman level already, that's some depth there that you may not see too much of from like a Blue North, from a blue type of team. It seems like they have pretty good depth for the division that they are in. So that was Joe Lowry from Aurora, and we're gonna be going rapid fire here. I believe we're gonna be joined next by Kent Roosevelt head coach Brad Edwards. Looking forward to. Thank you, Coach Lowry. We certainly appreciate that. And we'll see if there he is. Coach, we are joined now by Kent Roosevelt head coach Brad Edwards. He is of the White South Division now as they moved up from the Blue Division. Coach, thanks for taking the time to join us tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys taking the time to have me, and just looking forward to speaking with you guys.
Well, Coach, you guys had a great run through the Barron Cup 3 tournament last year. Played in that new play-in game and then rode that momentum all the way to the championship game. A tough one against CBCA. But you guys, you're returning 12 players, good amount of seniors and juniors, a couple sophomores as well. So talk about some, from your perspective, talk about some of those players. One of those being goaltender Brooke Binder, who was fantastic in the Barron Cup 3 championship game. Against a very good CVCA team. So besides her, who else is coming back for you, and who's making an impact so far?
I have, like you said, 6 juniors returning, which is a huge huge class of players that we're really going to miss here in a year or so. But I have those juniors along with Brooke, have a sophomore defenseman in Teddy Macaron, who did a really good job for us last year, freshman on the backside. And I was kind of watching and listening to Coach Lowry, and I brought in four freshmen and a backup goaltender this year, so that'll be nice to not have to worry about. So Lily Carpenez will come in as a freshman goalie. So it's nice to be able to give Brooke some time off, especially during tournaments. You guys were talking about tournaments and whatnot. And, one of the guys that's back, two guys that are back, Brad Sims, senior co-captain. He's a forward. And then Matt McCann, and it was interesting you guys were talking about guys that, kind of start and youth programs. And, Matt McCann is a guy that came into the program as a freshman. He knew how to skate. He's an athlete, plays football, and now he's one of our co-captains this year. And he's, like Joe said, those guys start making an impact. And Matt's already been on the board a couple of times on the stat sheet. And another guy that's going to have a big year for us is going to be junior assistant captain Alex Sims. So we have a pretty good core returning. So.
Hey, Coach, talk about oh, good. I'm not on mute. I usually put myself on mute and forget about it once a show, but I thought I was.
Show's not over yet, Josh.
Glad I'm not. But so excuse my ignorance there. But hey, Coach, I was curious to know what a run like last year's run to the Barron Cup championship game does for a program, and especially when you have a lot of players coming back. What kind of experience is that put into, and does it add any jolt to the program itself, knowing that the things that you are preaching, the things that your coaching staff and the players, how things are working, are actually there's proof to show that it works?
Yeah, that's really important. And, just knowing that we have guys back and knowing that we have that leadership in the room that has been through, sounds like somebody's going to the bathroom.
That's what I was trying to figure out. Like, what is that?
Wasn't me though.
Sorry. Poured water into my thing. I forgot to put my cell phone.
It's okay. But, at any rate, having those returners and having that core of juniors and the seniors and sophomores to just kind of rely on to when the things aren't going great during the season. Because we got off a really good start. We beat Lakewood 5-1, and then we took off Thanksgiving this year. Decided not to go to Oxford because we host two tournaments back to back within 2 weeks of one another. So we're in a little patch right now that we got to work our way through. But the guys know that we need to be playing hard at the end of the season and peaking at the end of the season. So still early, but we've played some really tough games, tough competition. So you guys had mentioned earlier in the broadcast about how teams in the red, white teams can compete with them and sometimes some blue teams. So after our first league game, we played St. Ed's JV team and lost to them 4-0, but it was a 1-0 game going into the third period. We lost to Amherst 9-5, who is always a disciplined, great hockey team in the red division, and we lost to Hudson 5-4. So our litmus test was that, so we're pretty pleased with that, even though our record doesn't show how well we've played. So it's nice to have those guys in the locker room to just maintain composure and be like, hey, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. So we can't really worry about our record right now. We just got to worry about playing good hockey.
Yeah, it's a long season. So, I mean, how many games do you guys try to play during a season? Is it 25 or 30 usually? So, I mean,
you can play up to 35.
Yeah,
you can have 35 games. So, we have 8 regular season, league games. And then we play in 3 tournaments. So that's each of those tournaments is 4 games. So that's an extra 12 games plus some non-conference games.
So do you see your team really come together? And what's their favorite tournament that you guys play in? I think a lot of these tournaments, obviously it's good for coaching to see where players fit in and how they play with certain players and getting lines and stuff. But, I mean, do the players really love going to a lot of different tournaments and traveling? And I feel like it's always a great bonding experience if you're a high school kid.
Yeah, our guys, I know much to their dismay, we did not go to Oxford this year because it is a great bonding experience. We take the kids on a bus, we stay in a separate hotel from the parents. It's just the coaches and the players and managers of the team. So this year we switched that and we're going to go to Columbus instead over
Oh,
MLK.
nice.
So we're still doing an out of town bonding experience, but with us hosting the Adam Hamilton tournament early December, and then this week we're hosting the second annual Karen Barlow Memorial Tournament, and just traveling 4 hours to Oxford and then coming back and hosting 2 tournaments back to back is tough. So I'm hoping they're going to love Columbus, but they always like playing at home and not having to travel. So that's, parents love that, but the kids like that too. But Miami would have been their favorite. So I'm hoping Columbus can turn into that for us.
Coach, I did want to kind of follow up on what you just kind of described there. You have back-to-back tournaments in which you're hosting, and for those of us, myself included, don't understand what it means to host a tournament. How much of that administrative, logistical stuff falls onto your plate, and if that does fall onto your plate, do you kind of relish the opportunity to just coach at that point because you're tired of answering where everyone can go use the bathroom or where everybody can park the cars or where the buses need to be parked?
Yeah, it's a pretty well-oiled machine currently. I'm pretty fortunate that I have a really good booster club and I have really great parents. So I mean, I do all of the logistics of scheduling the teams and making the schedule, and I have a group of parents in my booster club that they take care of everything. They put a sign-up genius together. We make sure that we have like penalty boxes run, score clocks run. So I mean, I am answering questions and kind of like the tournament host throughout the weekend, but it is nice to get on the ice and just coach. But I'm really fortunate that my parents are really great and they kind of take the lead on that, which takes some of that administrative stuff off my plate.
So
But it is a grind, though. It's a grind, though.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, not only that, back to back.
Yeah.
Speaking of those tournaments, who are some of the teams that are coming out to play you guys in these tournaments?
Yeah, so like I said in the first tournament, we have it's an 8-team. Both tournaments are 8-team tournaments. 2 weeks ago, when we hosted the Hamilton tournament in our red division, we had Anthony Wayne come over from Toledo. St. Ed's Green team played in that bracket. The Menor Cardinals, they play in it every year. And man, am I drawing a blank? Hold on, let me look at my schedule here.
Sean, do you need to fill more water up while he's?
Yeah,
You know
go
what?
ahead.
Man gets thirsty. He's gonna fill up his water. Next time, I'll make sure I'll put it on mute.
Okay, sorry here, guys. Oh yeah, it was Menor St. CVCA was in that other side of the
Oh,
bracket.
nice.
Yeah, so they competed pretty well. They lost to Menor in the championship in that tournament. Those were their only 2 losses in the tournament. So they went 2-2. And then on the other side, it was us, St. Ed's JV team in Hudson and Amherst. And then this coming weekend, in the red division, I have Hudson, Perrysburg. Let me pull that.
You got them all over the place.
Yeah, there's a lot of,
Which is fun.
It is fun because it's good for like teams from last year we played CVCA 6 times, and like this year we only played them in a preseason game. So our goal is to hopefully meet them in the finals in the Barron Cup.
Let's say you play a team 6 times. I mean, do you have to change things, or are you like at this point just throw the puck out there and let them play?
Yeah, at that point, it's basically it's like there's no secrets. We know what they're doing, they know what we're doing, and it just comes down to a battle of wills. So getting back to our other tournament, it's Hudson, Strongsville, CVCA, and Perrysburg, and then in our bracket is Kenston, Bishop Watterson, and Toledo Whitmer.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a great tournament. They're both for memorial tournaments for people that are pretty special to the program. So.
Hey, Coach, you guys joined you guys moved up to the White South Division this year from the Blue Division. How's the team taking on that challenge, playing the White Division now instead of the Blue?
Yeah, I think we always knew we were a White Division caliber team last year, but our youth was and inexperience we knew we weren't quite ready. And when Ryan approached me and asked if we would move up, we said yes because we felt pretty positive. right now we're 1-2 in the division. We beat Lakewood, and we lost to Avon and Avon Lake. And we just played the Avon last night, and I shot them 42-12, 41-12, and
Wow.
we couldn't bury second chances. Their goalie played great. So and they're teams we don't know. It's kind of nice because all the other teams on the other side of the white division are teams that we play constantly, and it's kind of nice to play teams that we don't know. But when you don't know something, you don't know something. You can watch on Live Barn, but until you see it in person, it's different. So Avon Lake's got 10 skaters, but they're all good. And Avon played really well last night, and I think our kids are responding to the challenge. And like I said, it's early.
Mm-hmm.
And I did hear your dark horse comment. I mean, I would consider us a dark horse for the division too. I mean, obviously we have goals and aspirations to win the division. I think we're capable of that, but they're teenagers, and you never know who's stepping on the ice.
Well,
I see what you did there. I see what you did there,
listen,
Coach.
I'm providing bulletin board material for the Kent Roosevelt Rough Rider hockey team.
And
If they
he's
wanna
just
put a
trying
dart-
to level out expectations.
That's all I'm doing.
There it
I'm
is.
gonna put a dartboard up with my
Appreciate it.
face on it. I got a couple things I can send you. They can throw them at me. I don't care.
I appreciate it.
Do
I
it.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. Sometimes you need to have a little slice of humble pie.
Ugh. and believe me, I got enough servings around here to get everybody some humble pie.
He's filling up some water to wash that humble pie down.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was talking about my humble pie because I
Oh,
honestly,
there you
I really, I mean, I do think we can win the division, but I honestly think
Yeah.
you never know. It's they're high school kids, and that's why you drop the puck, and that's why you play the game.
That's right. Well said.
We're talking with head coach Brad Edwards of Kent Roosevelt here. Coach, we ask coaches from time to time about their experiences coaching now compared to maybe 5-10 years ago, and maybe some of the biggest differences that you've noticed over that time frame. So we're interested in what since you've been a coach and coming up to where you are now. Either with the kids or with different methods or strategies, what are some of the biggest changes that you've noticed from when you started to where you are now?
Yeah. As far as kids are kids. I don't think kids have changed all that much. But I do think that the style of hockey has changed. When I played in the 90s, it was, get the puck deep, forecheck hard, and bury guys and try and impose your will through physicality, where in today's world, it's a little bit more of a finesse game. There's still contact, but we focus on stick on puck, then separate the body, because we want to get as many guys touching the puck as possible. And I think just the skill level has changed. A lot of the off-season training that these kids are doing and going to stick and pucks. I do think it's a little bit more difficult at times, just because the differences from USA Hockey rules into National Federation rules. USA Hockey, you have to play the puck first, and you can't check. Whereas in National Federation, you can hit a guy that's touching the puck and it doesn't matter. So I think a lot of our kids struggle with that transition from USA Hockey rules to Federation rules, and they've only been checking for a year. So those would be some of the biggest differences I've seen as far as and I think a lot of coaches aren't afraid to try new strategies, as opposed to you're letting your kids be a little bit more creative. Like, you have a system that you want your kids to run, and at the end of the day, there's still that creativity piece, and you want to give your kids a little piece of that. As long as they're doing the little things correct, and like we harp on 50-50 battles. I think if you can win 50-50 battles in the corners and in the offensive zone, neutral zone, D zone, I think you're going to be in good shape.
Well, Coach, thank you for we appreciate you taking your time out of your busy schedule of running tournaments and doing all that to join us tonight. We always enjoy talking to you, whether it's here at the All-Star Draft. Good luck to you this year. We look forward to seeing how you do in the White Division.
Yeah, appreciate it. Go Dark Horses. Have a great night, guys. Thanks very much.
Coach. You too.
Take care.
That is head coach of Kent Roosevelt. Brad Edwards is joining us here on the high school hockey show, brought to you by Ray Felton State Farm Insurance.
Gotta love it.
I'm not joking. I'm saying we're going rapid fire. We're going rapid fire. And we are now joined by the head coach of the Stow-Munroe Falls Bulldogs, Ryan Schelien. Coach, thanks for taking the time to join us tonight.
Guys,
Apologize for running a little bit behind here, but thanks for being patient with us.
who went before me?
What's that?
Who went before me?
We were running a little. We tend to be a little long-winded from time to time ourselves, and then that kind of just bleeds on from there. We're
Gotcha.
self-aware about that, though.
Yeah.
Coach, thanks for taking the time to join us. You guys had a great season last year. A very, very tough game in the Barron Cup 2 championship. You guys are starting out this year. Talk about how things have gone for your team so far this year, and where you stand.
Yeah, so last year was great. Ran into a tough. You said tough. They were very tough, very physical Western Reserve team that came in. But going back into this year here, we're struggling out of the gate a little bit here. Had a pretty tough schedule to start things off, and I did that kind of strategically to try to get our seniors going. We have a pretty good senior core of players, and we want to give them some competition that I know they can play up against. And I thought the rest of the team competed well against some of the teams that we played off here. Walsh and Padua, Cincinnati Muller, some teams that we normally wouldn't play, right? But I think it's always good to play against some tougher competition, especially in the beginning of the year. We got a lot of freshmen and sophomore. It's pretty much like a brand new team for us this year, and we're gonna have to develop some of these underclassmen. So we figured, hey, let's start off with a bang. Let's play these tough teams and see how we do. And now we're getting back into league play now, so I'm hoping to secure our first win here in the league here soon. But yeah, we're just trying to figure it out, trying to see what kind of team we have, and really getting used to the new faces. I mean, we don't know how to play with each other yet, and the season's not very long. It's BAM. You have captain's practices, and you're into the season, so it's been a little bit of a learning curve for us right now.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned you have 7 freshmen, including your primary goalie. So talk about how that's been a transition for you, and just throwing your goalie out there with a lack of experience playing at the varsity high school level. Just talk about how that is going for you, and what's that like on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy for any freshman goalie to come in there and play at this level. And being in the White North, you got some pretty good teams and some guys that can really shoot the puck. We recently played CGCA and Princeton. Both those teams have some guys that can just shoot, and that's not the concern. Those pucks are going to go in, right? We're just trying to get to a point where we're calming the nerves, we're keeping her focused, and it's just an ongoing project that we're going to keep working on, and we're going to have to help her out too with our defense. We have Mason and Alessio are playing a lot more defense. That I'd like to have one of those up front sometimes, but we're going to have to really be strong defensively and then work our way out of it.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the coaches we've been talking to, we're talking about the tournaments they've been in early on here in the season. Has that helped you understand the lines and how and get these kids to play together a little bit, or is it still kind of a process? Probably for a little bit. It's obviously a little bit early in the season, but the tournaments and stuff, they're, like you said, they're thrown in the fire by playing some of these tough teams, and sometimes that is a really good thing. Because they're going to kind of get that confidence, obviously taking some hardships there. But do these tournaments help your team come together a little bit and understand how to play together?
Oh, absolutely. Even when you're losing to some of these teams that you don't expect to win against, you want to compete with. You're trying to get a period, right? A good period of hockey out of your team. Trying to run 3 lines that you can just continue to run. Before we decided to go into the Walsh tournament, which is always a tough tournament over Thanksgiving. and was just excited to be invited to it and just wanted to compete. Unfortunately, we had 3 guys, which is basically a whole line, go down either to injury or ineligibility, whatever. So we pretty much we weren't at full go, and we still aren't at full go yet. But that creates another variable. It's not an excuse, but other people got to step up, and it just wasn't. The timing was bad for that. But to your point, I think the tournaments are great. I think the non-league games are great because we have some backloaded league games. So we only have like 3 league games before the new year, and then we have 5 league games after. So I think that's going to help us because we're going to be able to play in these non-league games against the Hudsons and the Amhersts and some of these other ones that they're just going to get us ready. Because that's our goal. That's the goal for most of the white North teams, and when in any teams in the Greater Cleveland High School Hockey League is to get good in your league and get to the Barron Cup and be peaking at that point. So that's what we're going to work towards, and for sure the tournaments do help as well.
Coach, we talked about this with Coach Brad Edwards from Kent Roosevelt, and I'd like to ask you the same question. Given how well you guys played in the Barron Cup last year and how well you guys did, have you guys seen an uptick in interest? I mean, you mentioned you had 7 freshmen. Are you getting, skaters that maybe are giving this sport a go for their first time as a result of that because they saw how successful you guys have been?
Definitely. Yeah. Especially in Stowe, like this is new for us. I'm still going to call us a new team. We're in year 5, but this is our second year in the league. I think that's helped raise some interest in some of our younger players. And I'm at the rink right now. We just finished up some Kent Cyclone practices. That's our youth program here at Kent State. And, there's kids walking around with Stowe hats now. It's like, that's what we want, right? We want to build the program, not just for Stowe, for Hudson, for Kent Roosevelt, for everybody in this building, that we want these kids to come and play high school. And yeah, we want to try it out. We've had some kids just try to start at like 6th grade, 7th grade. We've had them try at 9th grade. I had a 9th grader, and he's on the team still right now, Connor Spangler. And we've had some other ones too, but Connor really worked at it over the summer, and you can see the improvement. These are high school kids that can improve pretty quickly if they work at it. The skating is always going to be an issue, though, right? If they don't know how to skate, it's going to be hard to not, really in this league too, to really pick it up. But I admire guys that are just trying it out, and we have girls on the team too, and that's something new for us too. We have some girls that play through the Cyclones program. Our goalie is one of them. I really like to see that too. It's a good thing for them to get some playing time and get used to it. So we always want to see more people, and we've increased our numbers every year since we've been here. So we started with 10, and then we went to 14, then we went to 18, and we're at 19 right now, which is a healthy number. But now we got to keep it there, right? So that's where the youth program comes in. That's where Brad and other coaches are trying to help out and make sure that we're developing kids.
Well, I think it's great. We have seen a lot of girls playing hockey. I feel like more and more each year, and we've seen them at goaltender. And we've seen some dominant girls playing goaltender. Last year, I think it was Menor that had a girl in between the posts, and I feel like every year you see it more and more, and they're skating fast, they're playing at a high level, and I think it's really fun for the game, to see all these players come together and play at such a high level and playing in the Greater Cleveland High School Hockey League. I think it's really fun to watch and see.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the goal. Have somewhere for everybody to play, and for us, there was just we felt there was enough kids in the Stow-Munroe Fall area that wanted to play, and we started up, and we've had some early success, and now we're going to have to kind of not rebuild, let's say, but develop some younger kids and get them where they need to be.
Hey, Coach, I'm sorry, Ed. I was just curious, now that you're going into year 2, being in the Greater Cleveland High School Hockey League, what's the transition been like from year 1 to year 2? Has it been a little easier for you? Has it been, about the same? What's it like going into year 2, being in this new league for you?
For me, it really hasn't changed much. I feel like, all the coaches are really good. They've been great to talk to and kind of, I mean, it's been a learning curve for me too, right? And our coaching staff to learn what the league's all about and, where do we fit, right? When we started out, we were playing independently. We were playing some blue and white division teams. We found we were probably more in the white division, but then we're like, no, let's play some red division teams too. And, just to see where we're at. So it's been a learning curve to see where we fit in, but it's been great. That was always the goal, was to get into the league and be a new member of the league, and we're really happy to be here.
Talking with Stow-Munroe Falls head coach Ryan Schelien. You bring back Mason, Alessio, Aiden, Reed, some of your key returning players. Talk about their impact and what they can do to help you as a coach. Coach up the 12 underclassmen, like extreme underclassmen you guys have.
Yeah, that's the struggle for them, right? Because they've been used to playing with some guys ahead of them that have been pretty good. We graduated guys that are playing on the D3 club, Kent State hockey team. So they've been playing with some pretty good players, and now people that they honestly really don't know. I mean, they've never played with these guys. My other son, I have two sons on the team now. One's a freshman, Liam, and one's a senior, Mason. They've really never played with each other, right? They know each other, obviously, but it's very different to and that's what we're learning. I think that's the biggest thing. We're trying to come together as a team to figure out what we can do. And these guys are good players. I mean, I can put them up with any first line in the white division, red division. They're good players, but we need a full team. We need a second line. We need a third line. We need to develop everybody, and we got to figure it out. And we need their help to do that. It's funny because I was in practice today with them, and I watched a bunch of them take the puck from one side to the other side and score a goal. I said, that's great. I wish you do that in the game. But does that help us in practice? No, it doesn't help us in practice. You got to get the team involved. You got to move that puck to them, whether you think they can do it or not. That's what we're trying to learn as a brand new team here.
Well, Coach, I think you mentioned it. You mentioned it well. I mean, it is an advantage for your team to backload the division games. As you're getting more experience together, and to make that push for qualification into the Barron Cup championships, and obviously repeat the run you had last year and maybe finish the job this year. So, you guys had we really enjoyed covering you last year in the Barron Cup championships. And we look forward to seeing what your team can do in 2023 and 2024.
Appreciate it, guys. Yep.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks for taking time for us.
Thanks, Coach. We really appreciate it.
Yep.
That is Stow-Munroe Falls head coach Ryan Schelien. They were the Barron Cup 2 runners-up. They won their division last year, so a very, very good introduction into the Greater Cleveland High School Hockey League. And that's a very good team to have there. And as every team goes through some growing pains in the early part of the season, it's kind of the same with football, where you're kind of figuring yourselves out in the first few weeks, and then you're able to really ramp things up come end of the season and playoff time. It's pretty similar for hockey. And as Coach mentioned, they're playing a lot of tough teams to start their season off. So it's really trial by fire for the underclassmen. And when they start getting into league play, not to say that those teams aren't as good as the teams they played before, but there's going to be some level of familiarity with them, especially when you go at least one time through the league schedule, and you're going to see them for at least a second time, if not a third or a fourth, depending on if they played them in those tournaments. So we're looking forward to see what the Stow Bulldogs can do for the rest of this year, and as they make their push to the Barron Cup 2 tournament. And I believe, thank you, Coach. And with that, I believe our last coach that's going to be joining us tonight is on, and I believe he is undoubtedly qualified as friend of show status. We are joined by Rocky River head coach Chris Cohan. Chris, I'm just calling you Chris like I know you. Coach, thanks for coming back on the show for us. Always good to see you and talk to you. How you doing tonight?
Good, guys. Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's good to be back. The hockey season's here now that I'm talking to you guys.
Well, at least we're still friends after our loss in the All-Star draft. I mean, we did it wasn't a great draft by us. I don't know if we'll be back to draft anymore.
I still maintain that we picked a perfect team and it was executed flawlessly, but the other teams cheated. I maintain that. I didn't say it on the air, but I did. There was some.
They were filming our practices in advance.
They were. They were.
Yep.
Is what was happening.
Just don't forget this is being recorded.
Oh shoot.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh no.
But we can edit this out, so it's all right.
We control the edit.
Okay, sounds good.
Now we got this off on the right foot.
Yeah.
Coach, again, thanks for taking the time and join us. You had a couple tournaments to start the season off. Talk about how the season started off for you as you're starting to really ramp up and getting into Red Division play.
Yeah, so like you said, we started off with 3 tournaments right out of the gate. Changed it up a little bit on our end. Had our typical Thanksgiving weekend tournament the first weekend of the season. Try and draw some different teams. Worked out well. Did well. Went 2-1 in the tournament, and then followed up Thanksgiving weekend over at Walsh for the first time. We joined that tournament. It was good to be over there. I don't know. I guess not as good as the first weekend. We went 1-2 over there. So I think after that we kind of got a little bit more on track. We followed that up with like one league. I think we had 1 league game against Olmsted Falls, and then right back into the Shaker tournament. So we've already had 3 tournaments under our belt. And like you said, it's just seeing some different teams, trying to get everybody going on the same page. And I think we're doing better than we were after the second tournament. So we're on the right track right now.
Yeah, you said you've done a little different from you is putting those tournaments a little earlier in the season. Now you're getting into a pretty tough stretch of league games coming up. Do you think having those 3 tournaments under your belt has really prepped your team, really had them come together, and as you get into this, the meat of the league play schedule?
Yeah, I think it definitely helps. Like I said, we're seeing different teams. They're not all division teams, which is good. But yeah, we have 3 league games this week, starting tomorrow at Amherst, followed by Menor, and then Olmsted Falls, all on the road this week. So it's a good stretch. It's a lot of league games in 1 week for us. I don't know if we ever had 3 games in a week before, league games anyway. But I think we're like I said, I think especially after the Shaker tournament, I think we made some good advancements in how, as a coaching staff, we wanted to see the kids play. They responded a little bit better. So I think we're going to be doing well going into these 3 league games this week.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned you have a good amount of returning forwards and defenders coming back. Who are some of the players that you're relying on to kind of set the tone for you that have made an impact in the past?
Yeah, I mean, we do have a ton of returning players, which is great. And I'm senior heavy this year, which is good and bad. It's hard to maintain. Like losing 9, trying to get 9 as incoming freshmen. But so I have like Luke Updike, Sean McDonough, Michael Allen, Teddy Lord. So who else I got? AJ Ritvo. I got a lot of guys that have real varsity minutes and forwards, and then on defense I have Luke Scapulas, Jacob Jackson, Declan Foley. So again, just a lot of guys with good minutes. They kind of know what we expect, know how to get in and get the job done. Followed by my small junior class, Adam Ricchetti, and then in goal this year, unfortunately, our starting goalie from last year has a hip injury. Not sure the status of his future for this year for sure. Definitely will not be in goal. So we have a junior in goal, Lincoln Greer, who had 0 varsity minutes last year. So throwing him in the mix this year, he's done an excellent job stepping in and playing, as our starter. So, like I said, we've got a good mix of kids, and then I have a huge sophomore class. with guys that have real minutes too. Lucas Canop, Jackson Rude, too. Also on D, I have Kyle Rush. So again, a lot of guys with real varsity minutes from last year, which is great. And then I'm trying to get some of these younger guys into the lineup. We're kind of at a bad number this year. 28 sounds good to most people, but it's not really a great number to try and field 2 teams. So trying to get some other guys in the lineup to get them some minutes. And then I have a freshman, Nolan Toole, who's got he's on our second line right now. Really had a great weekend in Shaker. Sparked our game actually the other day at Bowling Green, got our first goal and got us going the other day. So, top to bottom, I got guys, seniors down to freshmen with real minutes, a lot of playing time, and then, like I said, Lincoln in goal, who's done a fabulous job so far.
Coach, you mentioned, early on, you got, you're starting off league play with a bang. Three games. You said all of them are on the road, or just 2 of them are on the road?
No, they're all on the road.
They're all on the road. So you're road dogs early in the season. How do you do you and the coaching staff have to kind of manage expectations at this point, given obviously you want to win those games, but you want to make sure you guys are, getting, like you mentioned, getting the ice time, getting the experience, and really progressing so that you're peaking towards the end of the Barron Cup, going into Barron Cup. Obviously, you obviously want to win, but it's not, it is what it is right now, given, the schedule.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, and, like you're trying to lay the schedule out obviously early, so we know what we're up against. And then they obviously, the league has to throw their games in the middle of these tournaments. So that just makes it that more challenging because there's not really a lot of time. So, playing these weeknight games in our league is kind of what we have to do now. Because I'm in 5 tournaments, I think, this year. So we've only had, with our tournament, 3 games and 1 at home. And so far, the other 8 or whatever we've played have been on the road. So we're used to being on the road right now. But yeah, it's, you just gotta, you're right. Like we join tournaments for specific reasons to get guys ready. So we're peaking towards the end of the year and we're ready for whatever challenges may come.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ed.
We're talking with Rocky River head coach Chris Cohan. Rob, as you were.
No, I was just gonna say, Coach, going on the road. I mean, obviously, you can win on the road. You're probably gonna win a lot of your games, like you said, in tournaments and at the end of the season are on the road. So it kind of is prepping you a little bit. But I know it is nice to play at your facility. You got a top-notch facility. They're always great to watch hockey games. What's been it like so far this year? Are you a little more laid back having all the seniors, or are you trying to prep some of these freshmen? Like as a coach, when you have that amount of seniors on the team, are you trying to get these seniors to kind of coach some of the freshmen? So then you're thinking, you can have some of these freshmen really contributing in the end of the season and next year, or how does that work as a coach when you have that many seniors?
Well, you said laid back and myself in the same sentence, and I don't. Yes, no, it's like I said before, it's nice to have this many returning guys, senior heavy especially, just because, like I said, they know what we expect. There's still a lot of coaching that goes on, but they know what we want and how how we want it done. So yeah, those guys, I am leaning on the upperclassmen to kind of teach the younger kids and kind of guide them along, so for future they're ready to go. Because like I said, some of these guys they're not gonna get in a lot of games, which is unfortunate. But being practicing with us and being around the team and doing all the other stuff, hopefully will help these guys for the future.
Hey, Coach, talk about I think we've asked this in the past, but we haven't. How talk about the importance of the youth program and how involved how involved you are, or maybe even your players or your staff is with cultivating that as they come up through the ranks.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, so we have the youth program right here in our own building. It's great. Unfortunately, the numbers have switched over the years. It's more non-resident than resident, but still a good amount of residents. This year, I took a step back. I did not take a team in the youth program, but we do have a handful of our kids that are on the ice daily or weekly with the younger kids, so that does help for sure. I am in the rink a lot. I'm, around, so it's not like I'm just there for our stuff, but it does make a big difference, being in the rink and being around a lot.
I can tell you too. I mean, from experience, even from a football perspective, when I was younger, you have some sort of touch point with the seniors and the high schoolers. As a youth, that makes a big impact on you, and especially if you get that one-on-one interaction with them, or if they come out to a camp that you happen to go to, those small interactions can lead to a lot of big success. I'm sure it's the same thing with the football team over there. With as successful as they've been, and as successful as your team has been, even just a little bit at a time makes a big impact on the youth program for sure. I can tell you from experience from a football side.
Absolutely.
So, Coach, 3 games against Amherst, Mentor, and Olmsted Falls, teams you're obviously very familiar with over the years, over the battles. We'll start with it. Let's just. I'm assuming your closest game will be the Amherst one, and then Mentor, if I'm not mistaken. So with Amherst, let's talk about Amherst then. What you, without giving too much away, what are you looking for from Amherst, and what do you think you need to do to get the W on that one?
I think we just need to stick with our style of play that we're trying to get these guys, our systems and the team play. We got away from it a little bit, like I said, 2 tournaments ago, but kind of got back on track this last one. And Amherst, like people have said, even on this call today, well coached, always well coached team. River Ambrose, played phenomenal against us last year, knocked us out of the tournament. So, we gotta keep putting pucks on net and find a way to get the puck past her. And then just like I said, just play our discipline style of our forechecks and everything that we need to do.
Hey, Coach, one more question for you, and we've asked this to some of the other coaches over the course of time since you first started out of coaching, and even maybe just as far back as 5 or 10 years ago. What are some of the bigger differences that you've noticed, either just with kids, with coaching, with strategy, between then and where you're at now? If at all.
I think kids just take a little bit harder to coach now, a little bit harder to get through some things and how they respond. They respond a lot differently now than when they did back when I started. It's just I think it's just how kids have been brought up now, and honestly, I think COVID, did a little bit of that with not being with people every day, and I see how they respond. They're responding a little bit differently, but it's not that they're not responding. It's just you have to do it. Yeah, you have to do it a different way. But my kids have been great. The years that I've been here, my parents have been awesome too. So I can't. I'm not complaining or taking. It's just the response is a little bit different now.
I think that's a fact. It's just when the situation that everybody was in, and we were all obviously all in it in certain ways, but when you take away that personal interaction, it's almost like when you work out and then you take a little bit of time off, it takes a lot more time to build that back up, and it almost seems like that's the same thing that's kind of happened here with personal interaction. Didn't mean to get into a philosophical deep dive here, but I think that kind of plays here, though. We're more than just a sports show.
Much more.
But
Dr. Phil's coming up next.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, I think we might be coming out to see you here soon. We'll talk about that more after we're done with you. But thanks for taking the time to join us. We always enjoy talking with you, talking about Rocky River, and we will undoubtedly see you out on the rink at some point in time this year, and obviously in the Barron Cup as well.
Great. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having us. Yeah. And do I see you Friday?
Yeah.
Well, you're
No
going to have to stick
spoilers.
around.
No spoilers.
Oh, all right.
You have to stick
All right.
around so
Well,
we can
edit
announce where
that.
we're
Go
going.
ahead and edit that.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Bye later.
I think it's head coach of the Rocky River Pirates of the Red Division. That is Chris Cogan.
That's not a spoiler. That's a segue.
Yes,
Dynamite
that's
segue.
true. Very true.
So, Josh, how about you take it away for what we have on? What we have?
Here's Jeffy.
Yeah, it's already all over our website and our Twitter. But yeah, in case you don't know, Hockey Night Northeast Ohio returns this coming Friday. The guys here, Sports on Tap, the Golden Pipes of Ed Dick, and Sean Duffy will be on the call for our first Hockey Night Northeast Ohio game featuring the Menor Cardinals and the Rocky River Pirates. It's going to be a Red Division matchup. That's going to be taking place this Friday, December 15th. The puck drops at 6 p.m. We'll get our coverage started shortly before then. But yeah, you'll be able to watch it all live on our Facebook. My bad. YouTube. It'll all be on our YouTube, which you're watching the show here live. Hopefully, if you're not a subscriber, please do. And when you do, hit the like button. That only helps us out. And we are going to be working, too. If you cannot watch the game, you will be able to listen to it. I think I found a way where I could get these, our games, at least the auto version, on Spotify. So those will hopefully be on Spotify as well. And you can listen to that period by period. So it should be fun.
Cool. Nice work.
Yeah, absolutely. This is our EVP of social media.
Oh, dear. What
Josh
in the world?
Doing work for you there. And
what happened to Sean?
Well, it looks like an
Grinch, baby, he's back.
Oh, my gosh. So just a little behind the curtain. Sean turned into the Grinch because he did not make our show's fantasy football playoffs.
Well, I might not either, but I won't turn into the Grinch if that happens.
Yeah, but yeah, so we appreciate everyone tuning in tonight. But make sure you tune in this Friday. We do have a tentative schedule of other games. We're probably going to be doing about 5 or 6 live broadcasts of games, and then including our Barron Cup coverage. Again, we'll be there for at least one night in the weekend, broadcasting the games, at least 2 of them, and then we'll definitely be there Championship Sunday all day, and all the live action will be on our YouTube page as well. But yeah, follow us along. We're going to have hockey updates throughout the season on our website. Obviously, our Twitter/X, Facebook, all the social media outlets. We're going to be kicking up our hockey coverage here starting tonight and going forth until Barron Cup, which ends in February.
Yeah, we're going to have some great live streams. I think it's going to be fun this Friday. I mean, the Menor Civic Ice Arena is always a fun place to watch the games. If you want to come up and watch some great hockey, I mean, I think we covered this game last year, Rocky River and Menor last year, and it was a great. I think it went. Did it go to overtime last year?
It went to overtime, and Rocky River got the win in overtime last year. Very, a great game. Coach Cogan mentioned, I think Noah Toole, his brother Owen Toole, was an absolute monster that game. Everything that we talked about with the since graduated Brad Baxton for mentor, all of it applied to Owen Toole as well. Just defenders and who are tremendous skaters, tremendous passers, and tremendous shooters. And obviously they're both gone now, but so we're really looking forward to seeing the battle between Coach Makito of Menor versus Coach Cogan of Rocky River, and obviously all the players that we will talk about there.
Yeah, two coaches that have kind of been around the game of hockey a long time, so it'll be a fun one. I'm excited for it, and if people are out there and they see us, come say hi. You have a chance to get a picture with the Golden Voice, Ed Dick, and we'll have to. The Professor Hype will be on color there. So I mean, 2 guys that are more than happy to take pictures and sign autographs, and they're ready to go.
That autograph will be worth something someday, I can tell you. I can tell you right now, it's going to be worth exactly 13 cents.
Wow,
and
that's pretty good.
I hate to, kind of go away from your little conversation you're having here about Sean's autograph. But if you cannot wait until our hockey coverage starts, our own Dr. Hoops,
that's true.
Just let me know that he's going to be having some high school basketball action here soon. So, Dr. Hoops, you got a hockey stick, you can get a football helmet on. So you might be a little confused, but tell us where to be for your featured basketball game coming up this week.
Well, definitely, Josh, and kind of spoil that out for you guys in that. So I'll be heading for my second game of the SOT featured basketball game. I'll be heading out to Brunswick tomorrow night as the Cleveland Heights Tigers will be taking on the Brunswick Blue Devils. This is a rematch from the district semifinal game in which Cleveland Heights won that game. So this should be a pretty interesting game between both of these teams. I think they're familiar by now. I think both coaches familiar with how the game plans work. And, this game could go down to the wire like how it was I covered the first time. And who knows we will see what happens in this one, guys.
What players are you looking for? I know you interviewed some players from Brunswick that I think they've been pretty hot so far this season. Are there any players you're looking forward to seeing in this game?
I'm really looking forward to, I called them on the show when I did the interview. I called them, the big three of Brunswick. That's Quinn Barnett, Trey Drexler, Tommy Morgan. Those guys I'm really excited for because I think the way they played all together in that starting five has just been phenomenal. But I feel like the start they're having at 4-0 right now has just been phenomenal. And even some of the younger guys for Brunswick, like Ethan Jean and some of those younger juniors, like sophomores, getting a chance to play in that role. And I'm just really excited for this matchup and a rematch from how this game was last year.
Well, I got to give
He's so excited. He's so excited. He looks like he's going to go through a wall with his helmet on.
He probably already tried.
Start banging it.
But you know what? I'll give credit. If you watch Noah's video, go to our Sports on Tap YouTube page. You'll see the Strongsville Menor game. What a game that was! Yeah. But I thought Noah was going to crowd surf into the fans. I mean, he got them they're going nuts on the video. It was pretty fun to watch. I thought are you gonna crowd surf this time? You gonna try it?
You never know.
They got a fever. And Dr. Hoops can prescribe you some sweet basketball action.
I don't.
I love it.
He's not a medical expert, folks.
That's right.
We have to say that we're not giving out medical advice. We don't want to get tagged by YouTube. But he understands basketball, and that's
that he does. No doubt.
He knows buckets. He knows buckets.
He knows buckets, baby.
I will say this. You may have heard, a lot of us are from Brunswick. First time that we've ever talked about this. But Coach Mackey, we're used to seeing Brunswick with more of a defensive identity. The last few years, they've been scoring a lot of points, which is a little bit of a departure from what we've seen in the past. But when you have some dynamic players like Tommy Morgan and Trey Drexler and Quinn Barnett, you're going to play a more high octane pace of play. They've been very successful at dragging teams in the mud with them, and having teams like Menor, who usually shoot the lights out, they drag Menor into the gutter with them, and they play them tough. As of late, Brunswick's been chunking it just as well as everybody else has, and scoring a lot of points. So I'm really looking forward to this contest here with Cleveland Heights, being that they're in the conference now, and then eventual battles with Medina, Menor, Heights. The Greater Cleveland Conference is one of the best basketball conferences out there, and we look forward to seeing how the Blue Devils are going to do here. So again, make sure you're checking us out. Check out Dr. Hoops' coverage of high school basketball in between our coverage of high school football.
Wait, one second.
Oh,
just
boy.
1 second.
One thing.
You guys went to Brunswick?
No, I was an aviator. I went to Vandalia.
Listen, you count your lucky stars if you were an aviator, sir. That's a badge of honor.
Aviators, give me those glasses, baby.
First off, that's not the sign for aviators. Second off, what are you doing? You look silly. You look silly.
Tell me something I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you something you don't know, Rob. That the best place to find high school hockey in the state of Ohio is none other than right here on YouTube. Follow us. We will be live streaming games from their barns. This ain't live barn. This is live streaming by Sports on Tap. It's hockey night, Northeast Ohio. We got the best. We got the pipes himself, Ed Dick, myself doing color. We got Josh, Noah, and Rob making sure everything looks crystal clear, baby. But the only place you're going to see it is on our YouTube page. So you better hit that subscribe button. You better click that notifications bell because we go live when the puck drops in Northeast Ohio. Baby!
Dig it.
Dig it, brother!
Again, make sure you check us out this Friday night on our YouTube channel. We will be broadcasting live.
Get some more water.
Menor Civic Center, the Menor Ice Rink.
Yep.
It will be Rocky River traveling to Menor to take on the Cardinals. Again, you're going to get the puck drops at 6 p.m. And make sure you check us out again on YouTube. And also, if you're not able to do that, Spotify as well for your audio needs. For our awesome sponsors, make sure you stick around. Check out more information for our sponsors. But again, for Rob Troutman, for Josh Jeffy, Sean Duffy, and Noah Jacobson, my name is Ed Dick. This is the Sports on Tap High School Hockey Show, brought to you by Ray Felton State Farm Insurance. And we will see you on the other side Friday night from Menor at 6 p.m. Have a good night, everybody.
Sports on Tap's high school football coverage is on every Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Watch live on YouTube and make sure to subscribe. Sports on Tap's high school football coverage is presented by Raymond Felton State Farm.
Have you compared insurance rates lately? Are you satisfied with your current insurance provider? If not, look no further than Ray Felton State Farm, a proud sponsor of Sports on Tap. For a free quote, call his office at 234-284-2996 or visit him online at rayfelton.com.
RRT Productions. We shoot, we edit, you win. Visit our website at www.rrt-productions.com.
For handmade quality leather products, check out Hand and Built Leather Goods. Check out their website, www.handbuiltleather.com. GV Art and Design, original and one of a kind. Check them out on their website at www.gvartwork.com and use the code ONTAP10 to get 10% off your full order.
You sure?